Howdy farmers! Many of you have been asking for a guide on how to set up your water and electricity. Keep in mind that there are many ways of doing this, but this is the simple and effective method that we almost always use. The first thing you're going to need is a power source. This can either be wind turbines or solar panels. If you're using multiple power sources, you should combine the output with root combiners. Take the outputs of your first two power sources and connect it to the inputs of your first root combiner. Then take the output from that root combiner into the input of another root combiner along with the output of another power source. Continue doing that with as many power sources as you have. Lastly, connect the power output from your last root combiner into the input of your battery. To divide the power output from your battery, we will be using branches. Take your power output from your battery and connect it to the input of a branch. Set the branch to 5 and connect the branch out to a water pump. Afterwards, take the power out and connect it to the input of another branch. Continue doing this with as many water pumps as you have. You can now connect your water pumps to your sprinklers. We recommend that each water pump should power 4 sprinklers. You can then use the power out from your last branch to power all of your ceiling lights for your farm. The water in your farm has to be fresh water. This can be obtained by using water from either a lake or a river. If you're using salt water, you need to use a water purifier to convert the salt water into fresh water. But we highly recommend building your farm in a place where you have access to fresh water. Now let's set it up in-game. The first thing we need to do is power our battery. In this example, we're using wind turbines. Take the power output from your first wind turbine into the input of your first root combiner. Then take the power output from another wind turbine into that same root combiner. You can now take the power output from your root combiner into the input of another root combiner. Now connect another wind turbine to the other input on that root combiner. Repeat this step until you have connected all of your power sources. When you've connected all of your power sources, you can take the output from the last root combiner into the input of your battery. Your battery is now powered and ready for use. Take the output of your battery and connect it to the input of a branch. Set the branch to 5. We set the branch to 5 since that's the amount of electricity needed to power your water pump. You can now use the branch out to power your water pump. After you've powered your water pump, you can now use the power out from the branch to power your next branch. Set that branch to 5 to power your water pump. Now repeat this step with as many water pumps as you have. It's now time to place your ceiling lights and your sprinklers. We usually divide our farms into segments of 2 by 3, with each segment having 2 ceiling lights and 2 sprinklers placed as shown in the middle. Now continue placing your sprinklers and your ceiling lights throughout the rest of your farm. It's now time to power your sprinklers. Each water pump should power 4 sprinklers. This will give you the exact amount of water needed for your plants. If your plants has the W gene, they will require more water than this, so avoid that at all cost. It's now time to power your ceiling lights. Use the power output of your last branch and connect that to the input of your first ceiling light. You can now use the pass-through of that ceiling light to power the next one. Continue doing this with as many ceiling lights as you have. It's important to note that you have to wait until your planter boxes have about 3000 milliliters of water before planting your seeds. If you don't wait, the overall health of your plant is going to stay low. This is because your plant is going to use the same amount of water as your sprinklers provide. When the planter boxes have enough water, your seeds are now ready to be planted and your farm is ready to use.